Good afternoon, good evening. I'm Lucky Lynx. When you deal with the human mind, or you do this for a living, or you work in a business or in a field or in a vocation where you're helping people to heal themselves, there are two things that you're likely to run across. Two very powerful things that seem to shut people down, freeze them up, lock up all their potential. Those two things are shame and guilt. Shame happens when you violate someone else's code of or standard or determination of what you should be. So shame happens when you violate someone else's rules for who you should be. Guilt, on the other hand, happens when you violate your own rules for who you should be. So if you've got someone, or you yourself are dealing with shame, it's because you're violating someone else's rules for you. So what do you do in this situation? If you're a reader, you got a tool here that you can use to help you with this. And in a moment, I'm going to tell you what to do for those of you who aren't readers, for those of you who are looking to get readings. Woman says, whose rules am I? She knows she's feeling shame. Whose rules am I violating about who I should be? Right? So this one came out first, and then I got this one. So this is the High Priestess. So you might immediately recognize who that represents. Could be a mother, because there's a female figure in the life, a strong female figure in the life whose rules, and the High Priestess tells you whose rules you're violating. This one actually came out too. So in this case, it was whose rules you walked away from. And it could even mean whose spiritual, religious beliefs you walked away from. Okay? So now it might be really obvious like that, or it might be something less obvious. Let's say it comes out, as the One of Staves, all right? So then what you would do is you would take a moment to feel the energy coming off of that and become aware of what that energy feels like. Because in this case, you may not know. In the first case, it may be real obvious, and it's probably obvious because you might have some inkling. In the second case, it might not be so obvious. So you take a look at this, you feel it, you take it in, you feel the energy, you go, all right, and then you wait. You wait until someone or something in the world around you triggers that energy. Again, you compare them and you go, okay, that's it. That's what I was looking for. That's whose rules, that's whose determination of who I should be I'm violating. Then at that point, you got some information to make some decisions by, and you may ask yourself, how well does this serve me to be living by this other person's rules for me? Sometimes just knowing that you're feeling this way because you're violating someone else's rules, laws, idea of who you should be, sometimes that's enough, and you go, okay, and you let it go. Sometimes it takes a little more. Let's say, though, you're feeling guilt, and you're like, okay, well, which one of my rules am I violating? So let's say a woman, she says she's feeling guilt. Well, what is she violating? Which one of her own rules? Which one of her own standards? Which one of her own maxims about life is she violating that she's feeling guilt? Okay, so the earth. So be massive amounts of nourishment. So she's not actually living up to her expectations of how we should be fully fulfilled, nourished, and you should be giving great nourishment to other people. So she's got this belief that this is what we should be experiencing in life and this is the kind of person she should be, and she's not living up to that. She may also be expecting it from other people but not providing it herself. Now, at that point, when you look at the guilt situation, you may ask yourself, well, is this rule that I've set up about myself, is this something that still holds true? Is this something that I still want to live by? Is this something that's useful in getting me where I wish to go? Is it useful in being the kind of individual that I'm choosing to be? And if it is, well, then you can ask yourself, okay, well, then how can I get back on track? Because there's no use in staying wound up and stuck in guilt. Those two things, shame and guilt, may just be letting us know something's not right. Well, I'm not living by my own code. I'm living by someone else's code. Or B, I'm not living up to my own code. But on the second chance that you're looking at it and you're going, well, you know what, I said this a long time ago. I don't want to live by that anymore. Well, then you've let yourself know something important now. I need to revise my code for myself. So you can use the two to just tell you something rather than getting mired in them and getting stuck in them. In any case, it doesn't seem to do you very good to stay stuck in or be stuck in either one of those, to indulge in it and to not really go, grow, flourish, prosper. If you don't do readings, if you go and you get readings from a psychic, you might approach your reading with them like this. Look, I'm feeling either guilt and shame. I'd like to figure out which one it is. And I'd like to figure out what it's trying to tell me. And I'd like to figure out how to move through it. And as you can see from what we did just now, it could be very simple to just go through and set you back on track. Guilt and shame don't have to be a life sentence. They can simply be a notification, something that alerts you to something that's not quite right and lets you know, well, I'm going to put myself in a place where I am on track again. I am Lucky Links, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do. I hope this little demonstration of shame and guilt and these little exercises do you some good. If you'd like to get a reading from me, 779-302-8009 or conjurehope@gmail.com. Or if you'd like to take one of my virtual classes in advanced or intermediate to advanced tarot, I have one in that. I have one in how to scry with crystal ball that's really an interesting class. I have one in how to read Lenormand. I have one in how to read the Mexican Loteria, and I have one in how to read playing cards like a boss. You can contact me by that number, by that email. You can text me or you can call me if you'd like to know how much the course fees for those are, how to sign up, and what's involved. I hope that you move forward from this point, recognizing that there's no need to sacrifice your life to either shame or to guilt, but that there are ways to move through it and get yourself exactly where you'd like to go.